Before you were born, your soul made a profound decision. You chose this life, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant in a divine plan, one that stretches far beyond what we can see with our earthly eyes. What if I told you that the challenges you face, the people you meet, and even the pain you endure are all part of a sacred blueprint carefully crafted by your soul? This is not random. This is not a mistake. Your soul chose this life for a reason. But here's the truth. Most of us don't remember this plan. We live our lives as though everything is happening by chance, unaware that each moment is a step on a path designed before we even took our first breath. What if you could remember why you're here, what you're meant to learn, and who you're meant to become? What if you could understand the deeper meaning behind your struggles, your joys, and even your relationships? In this video, we are about to uncover the hidden truths behind the soul's journey, the sacred contracts we made before birth, and the divine purpose woven into every part of our lives. You'll discover why reincarnation is not a curse, but a blessing, a chance for your soul to grow, evolve, and ultimately return to its divine origin. We will reveal the deep connections between karma and free will, and how your choices, both past and present, are shaping your spiritual evolution. As we embark on this journey together, ask yourself, what if the life you're living right now is not just a random event, but a divinely orchestrated experience designed for your soul's awakening? What if every challenge you face is an opportunity to heal, to evolve, and to step into the highest version of yourself? Stay with us as we dive into the mysteries that have been hidden for centuries. If this resonates with you, drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe to continue exploring the sacred journey of the soul. Together, we will uncover the divine path that awaits us all. The forgotten truth. Your soul's agreement before birth. In the beginning, before time took its first breath, your soul sat before a divine council in the realm beyond stars. There, wrapped in the eternal light of understanding, you were shown the tapestry of your lifetimes, woven with golden threads of possibility, pain, and profound purpose. This was not a punishment, not a sentence. It was a sacred agreement. Your soul said yes to the storm and the sunlight alike, yes to being human. This truth, buried beneath flesh and forgetfulness, is the root of your spiritual longing. You did not randomly appear on this earth. You were not thrown into this body by chance. Your soul, eternal and luminous, chose this exact lifetime. The family you were born into, chosen. The struggles you would face, chosen. Even your weaknesses, those too were handpicked by you to become your greatest teachers. Why would any soul choose hardship? Because from the higher realm, pain does not frighten, it clarifies. Before birth, your soul was guided by benevolent beings, spiritual guides, elders, and karmic counselors. Together, you reviewed past lives, karmic imbalances, and the lessons your soul still thirsted to learn. This is what many ancient traditions call pre-birth planning. In this realm, all things are known. Your soul could see its own shadow clearly, and from that honesty, crafted a journey where growth would be not only possible, but inevitable. Imagine a soul who, in a past life, wielded power without compassion. In this life, they may choose to be born powerless, not to suffer, but to understand. Another soul may have failed to forgive. Now, they walk into a family where betrayal brews early, and forgiveness becomes their liberation. These are not cosmic punishments. They are sacred chances to heal ancient wounds. Stories from near-death experiences and hypnotherapists like Dr. Michael Newton and Dolores Cannon echo this truth. Many people under regression describe vast libraries of souls, councils of light, and even soul blueprints drawn before birth. They recall choosing bodies, reviewing future challenges, and signing spiritual contracts, not as victims, but as volunteers. And what about you? When you look at your life's greatest trials, could it be your soul wrote those lines in the script? Could your heartbreak be the crack through which your compassion was meant to pour? This truth brings a soft, healing light. You are not lost. You are not off course. You are exactly where your soul expected you to be. Even the detours were foreseen. Even your mistakes are part of the learning. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the soul begins to whisper, "What am I here to remember through this?" That is the question that opens the gate to grace. And now, as we stand in the light of this sacred remembering, we turn to another divine mystery, the role of pain, not as enemy, but as ally. Why you chose pain, the divine role of suffering pain. The word alone sends shivers down the spine. It is the visitor no one welcomes, the shadow we flee from, the storm we try to outrun. Yet from the soul's perspective, pain is one of Earth's holiest teachers. Not because it wounds, but because it awakens, because through its fire, illusions burn and truth remains. You did not choose a life to escape discomfort. You chose a life to be transformed by it. The spiritual traditions that have weathered centuries, Buddhism, Christianity, indigenous wisdom, mystic Islam, all agree. Suffering is not meaningless. It is the threshold through which we meet ourselves. There's a woman named Lisa who once told her story. She lost her husband in a tragic accident and sank into years of grief. She cursed God. She rejected every comfort. But one day, walking alone in a field, she felt the sun hit her skin and something cracked open. Not joy, not yet, but the first thread of acceptance. That tiny thread led her to rebuild, to counsel others, to create a foundation for widowed families. Her suffering did not disappear, but it became sacred. She says now, "I wouldn't wish what happened on anyone, but I wouldn't undo it either, because it made me who I am." Pain, when met with presence, becomes purification. Like gold refined in flame, the soul grows luminous in sorrow. But when we resist it, blame it, numb it, suffering calcifies. The pain that was meant to be passage becomes prison. This is where so many fall into a spiritual misunderstanding that positive vibes only can bypass real transformation. But no soul evolves by avoiding shadow. The Christ bled, the Buddha fasted. The prophets wept. They were not defeated by their suffering, they were refined by it. So ask yourself, what is the pain in my life trying to teach me? Is it patience, surrender, strength, compassion? There is always a lesson folded in the ache, and often that lesson unlocks a power within you that no book, no guru, no affirmation could give. This does not mean we seek suffering. It means we no longer fear it. We meet it with dignity. We stop asking, "Why me?" and begin asking, "What now?" The moment we accept that pain has purpose, healing begins. The wound becomes a wellspring. The scar becomes a scripture. Your tears are not wasted. They water the soil of your soul. And when the lesson of pain is learned, what remains is not bitterness, but clarity. Not despair, but depth. And from that place, we begin to see Earth differently, not as a battlefield, but as a classroom. Let us now walk into that classroom and remember why we came here at all. Earth is not a prison. It's a sacred school. There are those who believe Earth is a trap, a dark plane, a karmic sentence. But this is a misreading of the holy text of existence. Earth is not a prison. It is a temple of transformation, a place unlike any other in the cosmos, a realm where the soul can experience the sharp edges of duality and turn them into wings. The physical world is dense, yes, heavy with emotion, crowded with conflict. But it is in this density that diamonds are made. You cannot learn forgiveness in a place where no one ever hurts you. You cannot practice patience in a world of perfection. You cannot birth compassion in a realm without contrast. The mystics have always known, Earth is a school for the soul. From the deserts of ancient Judea to the peaks of Tibet, spiritual seekers have come to the same realization. Earth is a place to embody spirit, not escape it. We came here to test our divinity in the furnace of humanity, to learn what unconditional love looks like when faced with betrayal, to remember peace in the chaos of a crowded subway, to shine light not in retreat, but in relationship. And oh, how many classrooms Earth has. Grief teaches surrender. Illness teaches humility. Parenthood teaches selflessness. Poverty teaches resilience. Success teaches detachment. Even boredom has a lesson, to awaken to the wonder of now. But how many souls miss the class? Because they believe their life is punishment. Because they think they're behind. Because they measure progress by possessions, not peace. Here lies a great spiritual mistake, believing that ease equals enlightenment. No. Some of the most awakened souls you'll ever meet are not sitting on mountaintops in silence. They are nurses working night shifts, mothers raising autistic children, addicts recovering one day at a time. The soul doesn't need glamour. It needs grit. It needs engagement. You may have noticed the same painful patterns repeat in your life, the same types of people, the same conflict in different costumes. That's not failure. That's curriculum. You are being given another chance to respond with more grace. And when you do, you graduate. The beauty of this school is that it is patient. It will not shame you. It will not expel you. But it will hold up the mirror again and again until you remember who you really are. Not the wounded, but the healer. Not the victim, but the witness. Not the mistake, but the student. And the more consciously you walk through Earth's hallways, the more magic begins to unfold. Synchronicities increase. Guidance sharpens. Peace blooms, not from absence of challenge, but from presence in it. This is Earth's promise, that if you stay present, she will teach you everything your soul longs to remember. You were not sent here to suffer blindly, but to learn divinely. Now, with eyes wide open and hearts softened by understanding, we step into the next revelation, the divine dance of destiny and choice, karma and free will. Karma and free will, two hands of the divine weaver. Karma is not what we often think it is. It is not a system of punishment or reward, nor is it some distant lawmaker trying to balance the scales of good and evil. No, karma is the divine law of cause and effect, but with a difference. It is deeply personal, and it is a mirror. Every action, every thought, and every intention is reflected back at us, not to punish, but to show us the impact of our choices. It is a guide, a gentle teacher, inviting us to align with the rhythm of the universe, a rhythm that flows with balance, love, and growth. Imagine for a moment, you're in a crowded room and someone accidentally bumps into you, spilling your drink. Your first instinct might be anger, frustration, or even a desire to retaliate. But what if in that very moment, you remembered that your soul chose this lesson. This wasn't a random incident. It was an opportunity for you to choose how to respond. Do you choose kindness, understanding, and perhaps even laughter? Or do you let anger take the wheel? That very response, the way you choose to navigate this moment, creates the pattern for the rest of your life. It may seem small, but the truth is, each response you have is a brushstroke on the canvas of your soul's journey. Now, here is where the mystery of free will enters the scene. Unlike a rigid, predestined path, you have the divine gift of free will. The soul may have chosen the lesson, but the way you learn it is entirely up to you. Free will allows you to shape your karma, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. You are the author of your story, writing each chapter with your choices, big or small. The interaction between karma and free will is not a battle, it's a dance. Karma gives us the material, our experiences, our challenges, the people we meet, and free will allows us to decide how to move within that material. Just as a musician uses scales and notes to compose a beautiful symphony, you use the lessons of karma and the freedom of your choices to compose your life's masterpiece. But there is a trap. We can easily fall into the illusion that karma is bad, or that free will allows us to control everything. Some people believe that if they act kindly, all will be well, that they will be rewarded, but life does not work that way. True freedom comes when we stop expecting things to be fair by our own measure. Instead, we learn that life's experiences, both painful and joyful, are all part of our soul's grand symphony, each note, each beat, contributing to our awakening. And when we realize this, we let go of judgment, both of ourselves and others, knowing that karma's wisdom is meant to awaken our consciousness, not punish us. So, ask yourself, how are you responding to the challenges in your life? Are you reacting with bitterness or embracing them as opportunities for spiritual growth? Every choice is an opportunity to heal, to evolve, and to take responsibility for the path you are walking. As we move forward, we now turn to a powerful truth, the sacred bonds between souls that we call soul contracts. Soul contracts, sacred bonds, hidden in everyday encounters. Soul contracts are perhaps one of the most profound yet misunderstood aspects of our existence. We often believe that the relationships we have in this life, whether with our family, friends, or even our enemies, are merely the result of chance or fate. But the truth, as ancient as time itself, is that these relationships are prearranged before birth. You came into this life not alone, but with soul companions who have been with you across many lifetimes. These are the souls you have contracted with, whether you remember it or not, to share lessons, to heal together, and sometimes even to challenge one another in ways that bring the greatest growth. Consider the seemingly simple yet profound relationship between a parent and child. Often, we view this relationship from a worldly perspective. The parent provides, guides, and protects. The child learns, grows, and becomes independent. But spiritually, this relationship is one of the deepest soul contracts. The parent may have agreed to incarnate with certain lessons to teach, while the child has agreed to learn these lessons, sometimes through great difficulty. A child born into a challenging or broken home is not a victim of circumstance. They are playing an essential role in the soul's evolution. They have agreed to learn resilience, forgiveness, and self-love, even if these lessons come through hardship. And what about the relationships that challenge us the most? The ones that seem full of conflict, misunderstanding, or pain? These too are soul contracts. The souls involved are not here to make you miserable. They are here to help you evolve. A difficult friendship, a bitter divorce, or even a toxic work relationship may be the very thing your soul needs to learn boundaries, to confront your deepest fears, or to practice unconditional love in the face of opposition. This doesn't mean that we should passively accept harmful behaviors, nor does it mean that we have to remain in relationships that no longer serve our growth. But understanding that these relationships are part of a divine blueprint allows us to see them from a higher perspective. We stop seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance, and instead, we see ourselves as brave souls walking a sacred path of transformation. Soul contracts are not written in stone. They are flexible and fluid, but they are often revealed when we need them most. Sometimes we meet a stranger, and instantly we feel a deep connection, as though we've known them before. This is not coincidence. It is the recognition of a soul who has shared a past life with you, a soul whose contract with you is still unfolding. So, the next time you find yourself in a challenging relationship, ask yourself, what lesson is this soul teaching me? What did I agree to learn through this connection? And what if, in truth, this difficult person is your greatest spiritual teacher? And now, with the wisdom of soul contracts guiding us, let's step into the realm between lives, the space where we rest, heal, and prepare for our next incarnation. And at the Interlife, the secret realm between death and rebirth. What happens when we die? This question, asked by countless souls across time, holds the key to one of the most profound mysteries of existence. After we leave the body, there is no sudden disappearance into nothingness. Instead, we enter the Interlife, a sacred transitional realm where our soul reviews its past life, processes its experiences, and prepares for its next chapter. The Interlife is not a place of judgment or punishment. It is a place of healing, reflection, and planning. The soul, assisted by divine guides, is shown the entirety of its previous incarnation. It sees the lessons learned, the unfinished business, the patterns repeated, and the growth achieved. It feels the impact it had on others, experiencing both the joy and pain it caused. There is no external judgment. Instead, the soul experiences its life from a place of pure love and understanding. The soul sees its journey as a whole, no longer bound by the limitations of the physical world, and gains clarity on the lessons it needs to focus on in the next life. This is where karma is truly understood. It is not a cold law that punishes, it is a teaching tool. Every choice made in the past life is reflected back in this space. The soul may feel the pain it caused another, not as punishment, but as an opportunity to develop deeper empathy and understanding. It may also experience the joy it shared, recognizing the beauty of love, kindness, and compassion. In the Interlife, the soul does not remain stagnant. It moves toward the next phase of its evolution. This could mean resting and healing for a period of time, engaging in spiritual studies, or even preparing for its next incarnation. The soul is not forced into a new life. Instead, it chooses based on its needs for growth and the lessons it still has to learn. It may choose a challenging life to further develop resilience, or a life of peace to consolidate the lessons of the past. This interlife realm is sacred, filled with light and wisdom. It is a place of deep healing, where the soul's true nature is revealed. And just as we forget our past lives when we enter the physical world, we also forget the wisdom of the interlife. But we are never truly separate from it. It continues to guide us, even as we walk this earthly path. The question now is, what will you do with the lessons you're learning in this life? Will you choose to embrace them and evolve, or will you let them slip by, repeating the same mistakes? The interlife has given you the gift of remembering your soul's plan. The question is, will you listen to it? As we step forward into this journey, let us remember that the soul is always evolving, always growing, always choosing. And every moment of our life is an opportunity to align more deeply with the divine plan that has been set before us. The veil of forgetfulness. Why you can't remember your soul's plan. The veil of forgetfulness is one of the greatest gifts and greatest challenges we face as souls on earth. When we incarnate, we forget. We forget the divine plan we crafted before birth. We forget the lessons we've already learned in past lives, and we forget the soul contracts we signed with others. It's as though we've been given a fresh start, a blank canvas to paint upon. This veil is not a punishment. It is the necessary condition for true growth. Without this veil, how could we experience life fully? How could we learn to choose love without the knowing of hatred? How could we find compassion if we always remembered the pain we have caused others? The veil of forgetfulness is what allows us to live in the present moment, free from the weight of past actions and the expectations of future ones. It is through this forgetfulness that we are able to truly embody the human experience, to feel the joy of discovery, and to learn the lessons as if they were our first. But that doesn't mean the veil is easy. Many souls struggle with it. They are plagued with a deep sense of, "I should know this," or "I feel like I've been here before." The truth is, you have been here before. You have walked this earth in different forms, with different faces and different names, but always learning the same lessons in different ways. You have been loved, and you have been hurt. You have given and you have taken. But the veil prevents you from remembering all the details. Why? Because it is in the forgetting that we find our true essence. It is through the process of remembering, piece by piece, moment by moment, that we find the deepest truth of who we are. Our souls chose this forgetting so we could experience life fully, without the burden of past regrets or the pressure of future outcomes. You may not remember the details of your soul's plan, but I invite you to trust that it is written in the very fabric of your being. Every challenge you face, every triumph, every lesson learned, is part of that divine plan. Even if you don't remember the exact path, your soul does. And it will guide you if you listen closely. The signs are all around you. Synchronicities, gut feelings, moments of inspiration. That is your soul whispering through the veil. So instead of feeling frustrated by the forgetting, ask yourself, what is the lesson in this moment? What am I meant to learn, not from the past, but from the present? The veil may keep us from seeing clearly, but it also teaches us to trust. Trust in the unfolding, trust in the divine timing, and trust in the wisdom that is already within us. As we begin to understand the role of this veil, we move closer to the heart of our journey. And that journey, my friend, is about remembering who we truly are. The spiral path, how the soul evolves through lifetimes. The journey of the soul is not linear. It is not a straight line from point A to point B. Instead, it is a spiral, an upward journey that circles back to revisit old lessons, patterns, and relationships until the soul reaches a place of understanding and wisdom. This spiral path is the key to the soul's evolution. It is the process by which we grow, learn, and expand through multiple lifetimes. Imagine climbing a staircase one step at a time. At each step you move upward, but you also go around in a circle, revisiting the same lessons, the same challenges, until you can see them from a higher perspective. That is the spiral path. Each lifetime is an opportunity to move up the spiral, to look back at the lessons of previous lives, and to gain a deeper understanding of them. The soul does not learn everything in one lifetime. No, it takes many experiences, many lives, for the soul to fully evolve. For example, you may have spent one life as a person consumed by power, using others to achieve your goals. In another life, you may have been born into circumstances that forced you to experience powerlessness and vulnerability. These two lives are not disconnected. They are part of the same spiral. The lessons learned in one life are meant to prepare you for the lessons of the next, helping you develop the wisdom and compassion that will guide you toward your ultimate spiritual awakening. The spiral path also means that the soul is never truly stuck. Even if it seems like we're repeating the same mistakes over and over again, we are moving forward, spiraling upward. The struggles we face today may be the result of past lives, but they are also opportunities to break free from those patterns. With each challenge, we have the chance to choose differently, to choose love over fear, to choose forgiveness over resentment, and to choose growth over stagnation. It's important to remember that the spiral path doesn't mean linear success. It doesn't mean that after each lifetime, we reach perfection. Instead, it means that every step, every cycle, every lesson is part of a sacred unfolding. The soul evolves gradually, moving in a spiral, learning from each cycle, and growing ever closer to its true divine nature. Ask yourself, what patterns are you repeating in this life? What lessons are you being called to learn, not just for yourself, but for the world around you? The spiral path asks us to embrace the entirety of our journey, not just the successes, but the failures as well. Both are necessary for the soul's growth. And when we look back, we can see how far we've come, how much we've grown, and how close we are to the divine truth that awaits us at the top of the spiral. Masters who returned, the enlightened ones among us. Throughout history, there have been those who have walked among us, not just as ordinary humans, but as enlightened beings. These are the masters, the great teachers, the avatars, the souls who have reached a level of spiritual awakening so profound that they return to earth, not to experience karma or learn lessons, but to guide others toward their own enlightenment. These souls, such as Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, and countless others, are here to show us the way. But the enlightened ones are not always as we expect. They do not always appear as the glorified beings we see in religious texts. They may not always have the grand titles or the world-changing missions. Sometimes, the enlightened ones come in humble forms. They might be a quiet teacher, a healer, or even someone who appears to be living a very ordinary life. But the essence of their being shines brightly, illuminating the path for others to follow. The role of the enlightened master is not to save us, but to show us the way back to our own divinity. They teach us that the path to awakening is not about worshipping them, but about awakening to the truth within ourselves. They remind us that we are all divine, that we all have the capacity for greatness, and that the journey toward enlightenment is within us all. But there is a common misunderstanding, that we must wait for someone else to show us the way, that only the masters have the answers. The truth is, the masters are already here, and they are not just outside of us. They are within us. Every soul has the potential to awaken to its divine nature. The masters teach us that enlightenment is not a destination, but a process of remembering. Remembering who we are, why we are here, and what we are meant to do. As you reflect on the enlightened ones who have come before us, ask yourself, how are you walking the path of enlightenment in your own life? How are you showing up as a guide, a teacher, or a light for those around you? The journey of the Master is not separate from the journey of every soul. It is a path that we all walk together, each step illuminating the way toward unity and love. In the presence of the enlightened, we are reminded that we too are capable of greatness. We too can awaken. We too can be the masters, not of others, but of our own journey. The path is open. The masters are here. And now, it is time for us to step forward, knowing that we are never alone on this sacred journey of awakening. Recognizing the signs. When the soul speaks in synchronicities, the signs are all around you. They are whispers in the wind, nudges from the universe, subtle hints from your soul. Synchronicities, those moments when the world seems to align perfectly with your deepest thoughts, are not mere coincidences. They are the soul's language, a divine communication that reveals the hidden thread weaving through your life. Do you remember the time when you thought of an old friend, and just moments later they called you? Or perhaps you had a question about your future, and in the most unexpected moment, you stumbled upon the exact book that answered it. These are the signs. The universe speaks to us in patterns, in numbers, in faces, in fleeting moments of déjà vu. Each sign is a breadcrumb leading you back to your true path. These synchronicities are not random. They are divine orchestrations, designed to remind you that you are not alone in this journey. The universe is constantly communicating with you, guiding you back to your soul's mission. The more you begin to recognize these signs, the clearer your path becomes. The more you follow the subtle nudges, the more you trust the whispers, the more you align with your soul's purpose. Yet many people dismiss these moments as coincidences, shrugging them off as mere happenstance. But here's the truth. When you stop and pay attention, you realize that these are not random at all. They are messages from the divine realm, designed to help you move through life with more grace, with more faith, and with more love. How often have you ignored these signs, telling yourself they don't mean anything? How many opportunities have you passed up thinking, it's not the right time, or that can't possibly be a sign? It's time to let go of that doubt. Your soul speaks in whispers, not shouts. The more you listen, the clearer the guidance becomes. When you recognize the signs, you are in harmony with the universe. The dance between the soul and the divine is a gentle one, a flowing of energy that guides you along the spiral path. And as you step forward, you begin to see how deeply interconnected everything is. Nothing is random. Every encounter, every thought, every twist in the road is part of your soul's story. Now, as we embrace the signs, we look toward the next great realization, the truth about liberation and how our soul ultimately chooses to transcend. Liberation. When reincarnation becomes a choice, not a chain. Reincarnation is often viewed as a cycle, a loop from which the soul cannot escape. But the truth is, this cycle is not endless. There comes a time when the soul reaches a level of understanding so profound that reincarnation no longer becomes a karmic necessity. It becomes a conscious choice. The process of liberation is one of spiritual maturation, a journey through countless lifetimes where the soul learns, evolves, and sheds layers of ego, fear, and attachment. When we begin our journey on Earth, we are bound by the illusions of time and space, believing ourselves to be separate from the divine, separate from the universe. But as we grow, as we learn to forgive, to love, and to awaken, we begin to see that we are all part of the same divine energy, interconnected and infinite. Liberation is not about escaping the physical world. It's about transcending the illusion of separation. It's about realizing that you are not the body. You are not the emotions. You are not the thoughts. You are the soul, the eternal witness to the unfolding of the universe. When you reach this realization, you no longer need to be bound by the cycle of reincarnation. Think of a master, a spiritual teacher who has reached the pinnacle of awakening. These are the souls who have transcended the cycle of suffering, not by leaving the world behind, but by fully embracing the divinity within. They return to help, to guide, to serve humanity. They choose to incarnate again, not out of karmic necessity, but because their divine mission calls them to be here. But liberation isn't just for the masters. Every soul has the potential to reach this state of awakening. It's a process. It takes time, wisdom, and deep inner work. Each lifetime you live brings you closer to the truth of who you really are. You don't need to fear reincarnation because it's not something that happens to you. It's something you choose. And when you reach the point where you no longer need to return, you have the freedom to stay in the divine light, to merge with the infinite. So ask yourself, what in my life is holding me back from liberation? What attachments, fears, or judgments do I need to release to truly set myself free? The path to liberation is not a destination. It is a state of being. It is the moment when you realize that you are already free. You are already whole. With liberation in sight, we now move toward the final stage of the soul's journey, the ultimate reunion with the divine, the merging of the self with the source. The great return, when the soul merges with the divine. The final stage of the soul's journey is not an end, but a return. A return to the source, to the divine, to the truth of who you are. This return is the culmination of all the lessons learned, all the suffering overcome, and all the wisdom gained. It is the moment when the soul, having traveled through countless lifetimes, finally merges with the divine light from which it came. This reunion with the source is not an escape from the world, but a profound realization that the world is divine. It is a recognition that there is no separation between the self and the universe. The soul, having completed its journey of growth and transformation, returns to the eternal light of love, understanding, and unity. Think of the greatest spiritual teachers who have walked this earth. They did not leave the world because they were tired of it. No, they left because they had fulfilled their divine mission, because they had reached the highest state of consciousness. They did not transcend life, they transcended the illusion of separation. They became one with all that is, and in doing so, they helped others find the same path. You too have this potential. The great return is not reserved for a select few. It is the destiny of every soul. Each time you heal, each time you forgive, each time you choose love over fear, you are taking one step closer to this divine reunion. It may seem distant, but it is already within you. You are already one with the source. The path to the great return is not about escaping life, but about living it fully, with awareness, with love, and with gratitude. When you realize that you are not separate from the divine, that you are an expression of the divine, you begin to see the world in a new light. You begin to see that every person, every experience, every moment is sacred. And this is the great return, the moment when you remember that you never truly left. The soul's journey is endless, but it is also complete. It is a journey back to where you began, and yet, when you return, you are transformed. You are the same, and yet you are different. You are the divine, and yet you are human. And in that beautiful paradox you find the truth. You are one with all that is. And as you step forward, in this life and the next, you will carry that truth with you, lighting the way for others, as they too begin their own return to the divine. As we come to the close of this journey, I want to remind you of something deeply profound. Your soul has chosen this life. Every joy, every challenge, every twist in the road has been part of a divine plan set long before you ever arrived on earth. You are not here by accident. You are here for a purpose, and while the path may not always be clear, you are exactly where you need to be, walking the steps that your soul once agreed to. It's easy to forget this truth amidst the noise of the world, especially when life becomes overwhelming. The weight of responsibility, the struggles with relationships, and the harshness of day-to-day existence can make us question whether we are on the right path. But remember this, your soul chose this path, not out of punishment, but out of love. You are here to grow, to learn, and ultimately to return to the light from which you came. As you reflect on your life, know that every moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is an opportunity to align more closely with your higher purpose. When you experience pain, it is not a curse, but a chance to deepen your compassion. When you experience joy, it is a glimpse of the divine essence that lives within you, reminding you of the beauty of life itself. And when you meet challenges, they are not obstacles, but stepping stones leading you closer to the wisdom and love that you were always meant to embody. This journey is not about perfection, but about presence. It's about living fully in the now, embracing the ups and downs with an open heart and an awakened mind. Your soul has been through many lifetimes, each one building upon the last, leading you to this moment of realization. And as you continue forward, you will find that every step, every decision, every encounter is part of a grand, divine design, a design that was created by you, for you. If this video has touched your heart, if it has sparked something within you, I invite you to join me in continuing this journey. Your support, your energy, is a gift that helps bring more light into this world. Whether it's through a simple like or subscribing to the channel, every act of kindness and every moment of sharing is a blessing that keeps this message alive. We are all in this together, walking the same path towards spiritual awakening. And every small contribution you make is a step closer to that collective transformation. Your voice matters, your energy matters, and together we can continue to spread the light, share the truth, and walk this sacred journey with awareness and love. If this message resonates with you, share it with others. Let's awaken the souls who are searching, just as you have found this light. Remember, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. And on this journey, we are never truly alone. The love and support of this community will carry you through, and together we can rise to our highest potential. So, if you feel the call in your heart, join us. Share the light, share the love, and continue to walk with purpose. Thank you from the depth of my heart for being here. Your presence is a gift. And as we move forward, may the light of the divine guide us, may love fill every step, and may we continue to awaken together in grace and unity. Stay blessed, stay connected, and keep shining. Your soul has chosen this life for a reason. Now let's continue to walk it with faith, courage, and an open heart.